loathe this planet and all the people who dwell upon it. Oh, hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to this week's...
I don't know how Vader does it. You just can't breathe in these things. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to this week's episode of the Guns and Cameras podcast. You know, sometimes having a good costume, good props, and great sets can take your stories from being just, and turn them into whoa. And our next guest, let's just say he's a master at taking ordinary things and turning them into extraordinary sets, costumes, and props. I mean, we're talking like Halo ODST armor and even better, Halo Spartan armor. I mean, come on, who doesn't want that? I'll take 2 right now. That being said, I can't wait to get into this week's episode. So while I get back into character and start focusing up my Sith Lord powers, you guys get into this week's episode of Guns and Cameras. Shooters, are you ready? Stand by. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Guns and Cameras. I'm your host, Joshua Best, and today we have a very special guest, Mr. Larry Hastings. Larry's from Cincinnati, Ohio. He's a set designer, costume and prop mold maker, owner of Vulture Productions. Larry, thanks for being on the show with us today. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I appreciate it, dude. Thanks. Very stellar introduction, by the way. Yeah. Hello, everybody. I'm Larry. I'm 35 years old. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, born and raised. Haven't decided to move yet because this place is awesome. I've been making costumes and high quality props for the last 13 to 15 years. And recently, over the last few years, got a lot of notoriety because of my take on the ODSTs from the Halo series. And it's just been great. So, very blessed to be here. Very happy to be here. Thank you, Josh, for having me. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no, I'm stoked to have you on the show. Tell us a little bit about how you got started. How did you end up becoming a prop maker?
So circa 2012, 2013, I wanted to make a Boba Fett costume. Initially just a helmet, and then it kind of snowballed out of that. So I did my own custom Mandalorian costume, about 2013, and then branched out to that into the Mad Max / post-apocalyptic and Fallout genres. Um, and after that, I don't know. There's a bunch of crap that happened between then and now, but circa 2016, I made my first ODST. Kind of sucked, as everything does in the first go round. And then during COVID, me and my brother were playing a lot of Halo Firefight, Halo Reach. So
Yeah.
he said we should build some ODSTs. So I said, yeah, we should. So I reached out to my boy Sean Bradley, and he hooked it up with a couple of kits, and then from there I met my business partner, my good buddy Daryl Kemper, um, off Earth 3D on Instagram. If you guys want to check him out, and then he introduced me to
Yeah.
a crazy material, a rubber, and then we started 3D printing our own ODST armor, and then molding that, and then turning them into rubber, basically stunt suits. And then he, with his crazy mad scientist brain, learned how to paint rubber in about 2 years, and now we got things that we got going on now. It's shaking pretty sick, man.
Dude, that's crazy. Who do you make this for?
Initially, we started a small film production called November Black, which is now our company.
Okay.
But so we initially wanted to do a story loosely based around the Band of Brothers HBO series, but with ODSTs, because
Hmm.
the game has just so much grit in it. We thought maybe we could bring that live action. There's a lot of ODST trailers out there. They just did everything flawlessly. So we wanted to emulate that, but give the characters more story. So initially we made them for ourselves. I think there was 4 costumes at the beginning, and then after we start posting things online, people just started really gravitating towards it. We didn't really follow the
Hmm.
modus operandi with like the Halo costume groups, very stringent on what needs to be screen accurate and all that good jazz. But we kind of did our own thing as far as it was concerned, and then it just kind of took off from there. So when people reach out, I make them for the wider public, but I've also made them for a few studios.
Dude, that's awesome. Do you now have people because of all the stuff you've been doing lately? Are you picking up a lot more traffic and requests for new pieces?
Yeah, occasionally. So right now, since Reach is the best game, I don't care what anybody else says, get fucked.
I
People have
agree.
wanted to see, 1000% right. People have wanted to
Right.
see our take on what we would do with Spartans. So my
Uh,
buddy Jacob, he had a Spartan outfit, and we took we took that through the blessing of the guy who originally created the 3D files. He said we could mold and cast it, and then we did. So currently we have two Mark 5B Spartan suits that have all the interchangeable whatnots and doodads as they do in the game. We haven't really showed
dude.
them. I mean, we've showed them publicly, but not complete yet. We're waiting for some stuff. We got some crazy things coming down the tube in collaboration with some gun companies that are going to just really put the icing on the cake for the Spartans. Um, Flux actually reached out to me a couple months ago. Alex over at Flux, shout out to him. He wanted us to do initially he wanted us to fly out there and then do a video with them with our ODST kits, but the logistics just didn't work out. So I just told him to send us a few fluxes and we'd bust it out for him. So we did that a couple weeks ago with a YouTube guy named Gun Drummer. He's a pretty cool dude, Nate.
Yeah.
He had us up at the range, man. That dude is a nut. It was really fun being up there and then shooting the Halo theme with him with guns, and then rolling the Flux Raider stuff into that same collaboration. So kind of killing two birds at one stone. But yeah, there's definitely been a lot of people that want to see us do different and I guess more innovative things, which is fine because that's what we want to do anyway. You know,
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. Are you a gun guy?
I am a gun guy. Yeah, 1000%. I do own firearms, several. I believe in the 2A. I'm a strong advocate of it, basically. But I just don't really ingratiate myself with the contemporary online gun culture, like the memes and stuff. They're fun, and it's cool. I think everybody should just own guns, just have a good time with them. Realistically.
Yeah. What do you think of, what are some of your thoughts on, the gun tuber slash gun entertainment world as a whole right now?
I mean, I don't really. I guess I do have an opinion on it, so I guess I couldn't say I don't. But get your bag, man. Like if you can make money off of it, as long as I think as long as you're teaching people stuff, it's cool. Like I love PSR, man. That guy's hilarious, and I know
Mm.
there's a lot of beef with him and that other gun guy, the younger dude. But it's like it's cool, man. It's whatever. I don't think you guys should be crying and complaining about somebody else's style of doing something. I mean, it's hilarious, and guns are just fun. So do what you got to do, man. But I think as long as you're teaching somebody, and if you throw in a few ha-has about it, it shouldn't be a big deal. Um,
Yeah.
that being said, like I personally know Mike at Grand Thumb, and he had us out there at the ranch last year, and that was a great time. And I know he's into the gun meme culture. I don't
Mhm.
really jive with his humor. Not to say I'm better or not than him, but his humor is different than mine. But we still get along. He's a swell dude. I like working with Mike.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of wild to see where it's come. I started shooting kind of more niching into the gun industry, firearms industry, like probably 5 years ago. And even those 5 years, it's kind of crazy to see how it's evolved into our own like subculture of entertainment. Right? You have the super high level like tactical training guys, and then you have trickles all the way down to again just entertainment. Right?
hmm
But what I really love seeing with some of the stuff that you're making, especially, is in the last couple of years, technology's taken off. I got into 3D printing way back when it was first starting to roll out.
sure.
Same with drone stuff. And what you guys are now able to manufacture for costuming, for props, for the purpose of creating really realistic entertainment without having to go too high into the VFX world is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So what kind of is your background? So you said you started with a Boba Fett costume. What kind of prompted that, and why? Like, did you have the tools to begin with, and what was that first costume building experience like?
That's a great question. Yeah, that was a long time ago now. I don't know, man. I've always been kind of a nerd. Like I think everybody in their early to late 30s, probably even into the mid 40s, grew up and they've had to have watched some of the old Star Wars trilogy and just seen Boba, and
Mhm.
he's just such a badass. You know what I mean? So when I was growing up, my dad doesn't really care about sci-fi stuff. It was either Star Trek or Star Wars in my house. My dad was
Mhm.
Star Trek, so he's a loser. But like he showed me Star Wars growing up, and when I first seen Boba Fett, it was like, "Who's that guy?" And he goes, "That's the Fett." Like you don't fuck with the Fett. So, you know, yeah. So I just thought it was really cool. He's a really strange character. He kind of stands off in the background, doesn't say much, and when he does, everybody pays attention. So it
Yeah.
was like I seen a guy build a Christmas themed Boba Fett costume, and I was like, that is hard. Like I don't know why that's so hard, but I was like, I want to do something like that. And then initially it was like there was a lot of online resources, but not as many as there is today. But back when forums were still a thing. And
Yeah.
you had to find the specific forum that could teach you how to do everything, and there you got to read everything that you want to, like, 'cause you don't know. There's a million different ways to do everything, um, and then trying to piece it together on how I want to go about it was a lot, and then I had to buy a ton of tools and a ton of material just to try it for the first time, and then I hooked up with some local guys that were kind of getting into it a little bit further ahead than I was, and then we just took off, man. So it was like a lot of cutting 5 gallon buckets up and fiberglass and crap. It just sucked, but it was like at the end of the day, I had a really cool costume. And like I said, I initially started, I just wanted to do the helmet, and then it was like just do all of it. Like you're already this far in, you got the main piece. I just wanted it for a shelf display, and then you know,
What were some of the reactions from people that you got when you first rolled that thing out?
super positive. Considering it was the first costume I ever technically built put together. Um, I have a bunch of in the Mercs, the Mando Mercs costuming group. I don't really care about them, but when you're before Disney bought them, things were a lot different. And so like when I first would post up the stuff, like I made everything very gunslinger-esque. Yeah. So basically, when you're in the Star Wars costuming community, there's a group that I was in. I'm not affiliated with them anymore, but they used to give out these awards for like it was something along the lines of like the best new member or something like that. So I won two of those over a span of time. I can't remember how it all happened, but they had like these like little challenge coins they'd give out that were in like the shape of the Mandalorian chest diamond. So
Yeah.
that costume group thought it was the coolest stuff, just because I did a very Clint Eastwood Western type of vibe with it. Like I made a custom blaster. It was just a couple lightsaber hilts and like a 45 pistol grip and stuff like that. And I put little space spurs on my boots and everything. It was just like fucking like hose clamp fittings, and then I had bells shoved on the inside of them so they would jingle when I walked. So that there was
Dude,
just
that's awesome.
for like your first time around, that's pretty up there, I guess, for the amount of stuff you're willing to do. But it was like a constant upgrade thing. Like every other week, I'd be doing something new to the costume just to give it more of a vibe. Like at a point, I added a poncho, just to make it seem more Western.
Hmm.
I guess George Lucas's original inspiration was Clint Eastwood for Boba Fett. So it was like just do it, man. Just the man with no name, just coming in and shooting people in the mouth. You know what I mean? Like that's Clint, so that's gonna be Boba, and I'm gonna do that. So, but the reception was great. Especially when I would like wear it to like local events. Like we got like a beer fest in my area every year, and I took it down there, and all the drunks were loving it, and the bitches were all over me. So that was really funny. I think it's the anonymity that really, with the helmet, really helped that. But
Yeah, totally.
yeah, everybody loved it. So it was a great costume. I'm missing it.
Do you do this full time, or is this a hobby for you?
I do it full time now. I have been doing it full time for the last maybe 9 months or so. Um, but
Okay.
that's because I've had a really great fan base basically that just are super supportive of everything I want to do. Maybe this will help with the signal. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems to be getting better.
Yeah, let's just go to my coat room. Yeah, that's fine.
Let's do
Uh,
it. That works.
but so yeah, I've been doing it full time for 7 or 8 months now, maybe 9. I kind of lost count. But my original job was that I was a scenic artist, and I worked for a theming company that would do stuff for theme parks, aquariums, zoos, you name
Oh,
it.
cool.
Yeah. So I've always kind
Yeah.
of had the artistic niche, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What were you thinking when you were kind of realizing that, hey, I could actually make a go at this full time? What was that kind of transition like?
Well, I kind of have an attitude problem. So, and I don't really like authority doesn't appeal to me. So I kind of tell people how it is, good, bad, or indifferent, despite what comes. So it was about that time for me to pack up and head out of the place that I was at. And so initially it was like, great, I got to find another job where they'll tolerate me, but people, it was just like, I don't know, it was divine providence probably, but people just started reaching out to me at random, asking me to make them stuff, and then it just kind of snowballed into what it is today. But you know, again, it's like everybody that I've done business with so far, as far as like private clientele, they're all super understanding and forgiving. They know these things take time, and they know at the
Yeah.
end of the day they're going to get a great product, hands down, and it's going to surpass anything that I don't want to say they're not good enough, but it's going to surpass anything they've built up to that date and then some. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's just been great. Initially, I just was so uncertain, with a wife and kids. It's my responsibility to support these people. So it was very scary and daunting at first. But I mean, it's still scary. Don't get me wrong, because I'm doing it by myself. But you never know where your next meal is going to come from, and you just got to keep grinding. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No kidding. I know exactly how that is. Been working freelance for the last couple years, and
Yeah,
it's hand to mouth a lot of times.
yeah,
But
man.
so what kind of time goes into creating one of these ODST suits that you make?
Sure. So me and my friends actually, we did a what if scenario one day a few months ago. And it was like, what if you had to build a costume in a week? Could you do it from casting to raw cast to paint to rigging, and rigging to weathering? It's like, could you do it? It's like, I don't know. I'm gonna fucking try. So I was able to cast a whole set of armor in one day and then paint it and rig it the following day. So I have it down to where I can make a whole set of armor from the ground up in 2 days with paint application and everything and make it wearable basically. But that's if like I'm utterly just killing it in the shop and I don't have any distractions or anything. No prior family commitments. You know what I mean? So more times than not, I drag my feet making people stuff because I don't want to rush and make a boo boo and then get set back a day or two of work. So, like when I'm working on people's stuff that pay me to do it, I take my time. Normally, I give them a 6 week lead time and then like another 6 week for production just to make sure that I have enough time to get my current clients knocked out and theirs without sweating to the bone or being under the gun for too long. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. What's been your biggest project to date
The,
that you've worked
the
on?
Spartans for sure.
Yeah.
They're just such an albatross. It's like head to toe, fully encapsulating armor. And then I don't know if you're familiar with mold making at all, but trying to trying to do a 3 dimensional mold of several big armor pieces is a lot. And then like just because you have the mold doesn't mean you can immediately start casting into it as well. Like you have to learn that mold, and every mold is different that I've made my entire life. So like the first time you go to make something in that mold, it's going to be a bust. But like you just have to
Mhm.
put your the nose to the grindstone and just like try to work it out and figure out the pros and the cons and the kinks and what the mold will and will not do. It's a lot of stuff like that, but absolutely the Spartans, just because of the scale of it. Like I think in material costs we were close to $2,000 just to get one suit out. But
Hmm.
that's with silicone and everything. It's not even including time though. But then it's like now we can make Spartans as long as we want until the molds deteriorate. And that's kind
Hmm.
of the same thing as the ODSTs. I could probably do a Spartan. I got those down to like 4 days. I could make a complete Spartan. But still, I haven't even figured out how to rig the damn things because I don't want any like exposed strapping or nylon because they don't have them in the games. So why would you in real life?
Yeah.
Trying to make it look as it
Right.
should. You know.
Yeah. Do you ever run any like electronic components and stuff in in your outfits?
Yeah, and the helmets especially like with the ODSTs, we have a light bar that goes across the top of the visor, and then we have fans, and those obviously to cool us down. And there's several lights throughout all the armor. Sometimes, not all the time. But the Spartans have a buttload of lights in them. And luckily for me, one of the guys in our group, he's like an electronics aficionado. So he's always over here screwing around and wiring stuff up, doing his little electronic black magic. You know what I mean? I don't know how to do that stuff. I'm too dumb. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, tons of that though.
Dude, yeah, no. Yeah. Oh, I bet it's been blowing me away again seeing some of the stuff that people are making in the cosplay world and in costuming props and all that, just because again the stuff you have access to now, tools like MakerWise,
Yeah.
especially with the 3D printing technology, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember
Um,
15 years ago or so when 3D printing was kind of first hitting the public domain, everybody was freaking out thinking it was going to be like the end all be all for prop making. And to a lot of people, it
mhm.
probably is, but to us, it's kind of, it's just another tool in the toolbox. Like it has its ups and its downs. Like we're not going to wear 3D printed stuff. And it's fine if people do. It's just not what we're known for or the quality of stuff that we want to turn out. Like
Yeah.
we want our stuff to be able to take a baseball bat to the chest and nothing to happen from it.
True. Yeah. Do you have a favorite piece that you've made to date?
No, no, not really. No, I mean, I don't know. I made so damn much. It seems like every time I make the new thing, that's my new favorite thing. It's like
Mhm.
a toy. So everything I make is just the new version of the old version. But it's just getting another toy for Christmas. It's like, yeah, this is my new favorite toy ever. And then next Christmas, you have another new favorite toy ever.
Right. No, I get that. Yeah. I'm curious because I come from I like making things, right? Like I've got into 3D printing. I'm just now starting to get into kind of putting together my own kind of costume wardrobe or whatever
Sure.
because I'm trying to push more into narrative filmmaking. And I like bringing in sci-fi elements because when you bring in especially now with kind of modern science fiction where you have the option of bringing in enhancements, right? So you don't have to go full on Star Trek or Star Wars universe.
Hmm.
You can go kind of like a modern setting with like a cyborg type of world, and do that with relatively small budget, small crew, stuff like that.
Sure.
When you are watching movies or films or whatever, when you're consuming content, do you watch and look? Are you paying attention, hyper focused onto the costumes and the stuff they're wearing?
Yeah,
Out of curiosity.
yeah, 1,000%. One of the guys who was kind of, I guess, a mentor of mine when I was getting into this stuff, he told me that he goes, this stuff it's fun to do, but it's also a curse because every time you see something somebody made, you're gonna analyze it and you're gonna realize like
Mhm.
slowly but surely the world in which around you is fake. And by that, what he meant is like if you go to like the store and you buy like a ball for your kids, you'll notice the seam lines on the ball. Like you start to like deconstruct everything. So it's like it's great, but it's also a curse because you can make these things, but everything you look at, you're so crucial about it, and you're wondering how it was made and how you would go about making it. Probably just ADHD, honestly. I don't know if every guy I've talked to is like that, but who knows? But also, it's great that you're getting into narrative filmmaking and stuff, man. It's really cool. That's awesome. I'd like to see some of whatever you got going on, and if I can help you, I'm 1,000% in, like in aces.
Well, dude, that's well, now you see kind of why, again, a big part of why I wanted to have you on the podcast is one, just like, it's networking, right? As you
Yeah,
grow, like I'm going to have a need. I got some ideas for some big projects that I want to do, and it's going to need costuming and some cool props.
yeah,
And I
absolutely.
don't, until like, again, talking to you, I don't know who to call. But I did see, and this is partly like, I just had Alex from Flux on. I'm working on a Flux project coming up in the next couple of weeks
Sweet.
as
I
well,
love Alex,
doing some
man.
cool
He's
stuff.
such a cool guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's so funny.
Yeah.
We had a good time on the podcast, but I saw that's how kind of I saw the stuff you were making, and I'm like, I'm a big Halo guy. I've been playing Halo since the original, right? And I've always loved the creativity behind the fan base of doing the Spartan armor,
Hmm.
and then seeing your ODST stuff, I was like, wow, that's cool. Um, and I've always thought like, well, quick question: did you like the Halo show that Paramount rolled out? What did you think about that?
I watched like the first episode, and I just didn't have Paramount Plus, so I didn't feel like
Yeah.
getting another subscription service is something I'll probably never look at. But I
Yeah.
heard enough. This first episode was okay, I guess, but overall, I haven't heard anything great about it. So I don't. Now I just don't have a need, But like
Yeah.
when the Fallout show came out, I was ready to go because I have Amazon Prime, like
Yeah.
most Americans, I assume. Um, but it was already readily available, so we started watching it. And to boot, a few of my friends worked on the props for the show, so it was like I want to see what these guys
Dude, that's
made.
awesome.
Yeah, so it was like they dropped the whole season the first night when it came out. So like I binged the first like 6 or 7 episodes, and there's a scene where they got like NCR Rangers, and they look
Mhm.
like shit. So I reached out to my buddy. I said, "What did you do? Like, how did you possibly mess that up?" And he goes, "Dude, I swear it didn't look like that when it left my shop. Like they did that with their own guys on set. Like, yeah, that looks dumb. Like, good job. It's your fault. I'm blaming you. You know."
Right.
But they're
Yeah, dude, that was cool to see. Way back I was into the airsoft stuff, right? And still a little bit these days. I'm waiting for my son to get old enough and then maybe I'll get more into it.
sure.
But we would do locally. We had a Fallout event, right? And so you could come in and you could pick all the different factions. We do this big mill sim. Everybody get dressed up,
Nice.
right? I was always just a wasteland wanderer. That was always the guy I liked being because you had the most fun.
Yeah, no rules.
Um, yeah, exactly. But yeah, man, crazy. Well, and what do you think about? Because here's the thing too, right? Like the in post enhancement of costume is fascinating to me, right? Where you have, if you look at the behind the scenes of some of these projects, you have these guys, and it's almost like 50% costume, and then they have green screen or blue screen arms, and then they add the rest of the costume in post.
Yeah. Furiosa
And
comes to
sometimes
mind.
it works, and yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't. But what are you working on right now that you're stoked about, or what's something you're looking forward to for the rest of the year?
I don't know, man. Like I'm kind of just a go with the flow kind of guy. I know for sure, like I want to do more stuff with my NCR Ranger. That's always fun. Like it's like when you start the costume, it's the base when you get it done. Like that's just the beginning is getting the costume done, and then it's like I like to give everything that I make and that I wear character. So it feels like it's real. It's not just something you can buy at Spirit. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
there's a couple cons coming up that I'll be at. The biggest one being Dragon Con in Atlanta, and that's in September, I think, Memorial Day weekend. I think I'm pretty sure, or Labor Day weekend. Sorry. And like we go down there every year, and that place is a hoot. So I'm looking forward to that. And then we have me and my buddy Daryl. We have too many costumes planned that we want to get done by that time. Um, just mainly goofy crap, but it's just like it's a big party convention, and it's just really fun. But I'm looking forward to finishing up a few client suits. I actually had a guy here last night. He flew in from Georgia to get an ODST costume, and he was telling me he's got like a watermelon head, and he didn't know if the helmets would fit him. So I was like, well, it has been a problem, but I got a pretty big head, so let's see. So, but he goes, well, I just want to be sure that it will, so I'm gonna fly to you. It's like, well, you don't have to do all that. He goes, well, I'm going to. I'll rent a car too. It's like, no, dude, don't worry about it. Like, I'll just pick you up from the airport. So I got to meet him and hang out with him, and that was really fun, man. I took him out to a few nice areas around town last night. We got the costume done, and we had an amazing night. It was really great. He met my wife and my kids briefly, but it's like
That's awesome.
yeah, I always look forward to getting to know my clients more intimate, so it's not just a business transaction. It feels so weird to me. Just thanks for your money. It's just so weird. Like I hate that. Like you said,
Yeah.
it's networking, man. Like the costume
Yeah,
community,
totally.
it's huge, but it's not. Like there's a
Yeah.
few people that are really doing it. Like doing just revolutionary stuff, and those are the guys and girls I like to network with. Like we got invited to Adam Savage's room party a couple years ago at Dragon Con. There's probably 15 of us in there. And I just said hi to Adam, and that was pretty much it. Because there was like Fawn Davis. He's a big prop maker in Hollywood. Has been for like 20 or 30 years. And I was talking to my friend. I was like, is that fucking Fawn Davis? And he goes, yeah, I think so. It's like, let's go talk to him, dude. So we like sat there, was just drinking and joking with Fawn for hours. That was really fun. Like more fun than hanging out with Adam Savage. But like once you start getting in those spheres of influence, like you can just meet so many cool people, and like you could tap on people for guidance or assistance. Probably the same way in every big community, like in the gun community. It's like a shot show. I'm sure all the big gun tubers get together and they have a few drinks and stuff, but same but different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I think every industry is kind of like that in particular, but I feel like you guys. I almost took a job as an art director working for a theme park way back, just because again I love to make stuff,
Yeah.
and I always thought that the guys in the costume department doing the prop stuff had some of the most fun. It seems like, right, of just being able to, because again, when you're working in everything in camera always looks better, and if you have like the ability to have an actor or your talent in a good costume, that's just going to help them perform better because they feel more in the part.
Yeah, they
You know what I
become
mean?
the character. Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes it a lot more interesting. I that's the thing that kind of kills me right now with, the way they make movies today. And I understand the why behind the technology and the business side of the filmmaking, but I also think I'm like, why can't you just use practical costume and effects to really sell it? Because
hmm
a certain point the CGI stuff just starts to fall apart. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'll tell you,
And
I don't have the insight, but I have some insight into that stuff, and I think a lot of it is just like just like an absurd turnaround time. Like
mhm.
it seems like a lot of the productions that I've been a part of, when they start pre-production, depending on the scale of the project, everybody is all gas. Like there's no like
Mhm.
there's just the title of planning, and then there's no in-depth planning for this and that. And then another thing that really sticks out to me, especially in some of the productions I've worked on, is that problem solving is an inherent prop maker skill. Like you have to be able to solve problems on the fly as soon as they arise. And I
Mhm.
can't tell you how many times it's happened to me on small productions. So something that's like $1 million budget movie, which in today's world isn't a lot, but it seems like that it's probably the same. It's like they're just flying by the seat of their pants with everything. So it's like, okay, well, we can't practically make this guy's robot arm, so we'll just tape it up with green tape and we'll green screen it. It's like, yeah, that sucks because like there's no such thing as a prop maker that wouldn't want to do that. To like
Right.
fake like, again in the problem solving. Like, you just say you want a robot arm, but it's like, okay, what mobility do you want? What do you want the robot to do? Do you want there to be actuation in the fingers? Things like this. Like, do you want it to be able to bend like a regular arm? All these things come into play, and those are problems that you got to solve as the prop maker. Just because the guy says you want a robot arm, it's like
Mhm.
there's a myriad of things that start from I want this. It's like, okay, well, what does this need to do? So more times than not, it just seems like there's not an allotted amount of time to really bring these complex things to life. But I agree with you. Like green screening stuff is a cheat for a lot of stuff, and you know it when you see it. But
Mhm.
and everybody, nobody's like I said, nobody's ever going to say they don't want to build something cool. That builds cool shit. Because that's boring.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, okay, whatever, do what you got to do. But I think that might be inherently the issue there. Is just tight deadlines, fast turnaround. Sucks. It
Yeah,
really
that could.
does.
Yeah, it does. But I think it's going to come back. I think that people are, it's. I think that there's going to. Well, maybe you can attest to this. I don't know if there's a increase in demand for your skill set or not, but I feel like that there's going to be a kind of a return to some of the old school stuff, just based off of I don't know what I feel like. Like I've watched probably 5 movies this year in theaters that which COVID I think kind of ruined the movie experience for me. But I've watched these in theaters and I'm like, they you can just tell. You can just tell where they've enhanced, how they've enhanced it.
hmm
And I think that there's going to be I think people are going to get more entertained or more interested in cinematography that has practical effects in it. So, have you seen kind of an increase in demand for what you do?
I mean, maybe. I don't really know, just because I stay sequestered away in my basement, making everything.
Right.
So, I mean, I've been, so like, before Fallout Season 2 went to pre-production, me and my team, we got tapped to do power armor and some other stuff for that. We put in a
Mm-hmm.
bid. We didn't get it, but we did, it's cool that like somebody wanted us to do it, like they tapped us for it. But, uh, I mean, maybe. I would assume so. Like as far as I know, with most of the Mad Max movies that's come out in the last few years, everything's pretty much practical, except stuff that they can't
Yep.
get practical, like just huge rock mesas, stuff like that. but it's just like I
Yeah.
don't really give a damn about what's happening in the background. But like same thing with the Fallout show. Everything in that has been practical. Like the makeup special effects has been insane. And
Mhm.
I mean, maybe yeah. There's probably a return to form eventually. I mean, everything's kind of like an Ouroboros. Just a snake always chasing its tail, just continue to circle. So probably yeah, it'll come back. I mean,
What goes around comes around.
yeah, yeah, for better or worse, yeah. I mean, you're in your mid 30s, right?
Yeah, I'm 35, same as you.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, how many things have you seen that were in style when we were a kid come back for our kids?
Oh, so many, man, so
Or
many.
even music. There's been so many reduxes of old songs. And it's like this version sucks. Like I hate this.
Yeah, I prefer the original most of the times. Like it's interesting to see the interpretation. I think the thing that gets me is like you had the opportunity, like this is the one, and I don't want to knock it too hard because I haven't even watched the movie yet, but my kids are all about the How to Train Your Dragon series, right?
Yeah.
The animated series, which I love those movies. Those have been great. Very cool. And then they make a live action version of it.
Hmm.
And I'm like, which is also probably cool costuming, right? There's probably some cool Viking stuff in there. I don't know if you've done any of that, but that'd be pretty fun. But then I'm like, so far the trailer is like shot for shot the exact same as the animated film,
Yeah.
and I'm like, you couldn't change the story just a little bit to make it, you know,
Yeah.
um, a
Well,
little bit
well,
different.
if they did change it, you'd be like, this ain't the same. Like there's
Exactly.
when we were first making like Halo costumes, man, people were like, "That's not how they look." It's like, shut up! Like we're doing what we you can go make it. Like, where's yours? Where's your Halo costume?
Yeah, you take a video game character and make it real
You,
life, man. Jeez.
but I mean, to just for a point, it's just like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And today, like everybody's so fucking polarized that everybody thinks their opinion matters, and it does in their sphere of influence. But it's like I don't care. Like like somebody I mean, there's a myriad of issues where everybody has an opinion on. And at the end of the day, none of our opinions matter. Like you're totally fine to feel a certain way about anything, but it's like just if it's shot for shot, somebody's going to complain. If it's deviated a little or a lot, somebody's going to complain. So like, I'm not trying to like you're a bad person, Josh. But I'm saying like, like
I
it's
feel
just
that,
kind of a
bro.
pick your poison. Like you're going to piss somebody off. I mean, I can go outside and say the sky's blue, and somebody would fucking argue with me. You know,
Dude, yeah, that is a good point. Valid point. You're
you
correct.
know. I mean,
You are
or
correct. Well,
what? It's just whatever. It's just crazy out there,
it
man.
is what it is.
Yeah,
No, it's true. In my opinion, though, it's like, look, if you're gonna go through all the time of making something, and at least like, just change it a little bit, make it something that when I go to sit down, if I just because in some degree, right, the artist in me is like, look, what's great about animated films is there's like it's animated,
hmm,
right?
yeah,
So you're already you kind of just accept the imagine like everything that is in an animated frame is there by design, and you just kind of accept that,
yeah,
right? But then trying to take that and make it reality, it's almost like it messes like, and this one I think in particular because the animation and How to Train Your Dragon was pretty good when they started coming out with those,
hmm,
and now you look at the live action and you're kind of like, this is weird because I know the dragon's animated, but he looks just like how he did in the animated film, and so you almost start to automatically cartoonize what
sure,
is supposed to be live action because that's just your brain kind of gets tripped into that space. And so that's where I'm like, hey, if you're going to make it live action, that's fine, but maybe change it a little bit to make the physics more realistic instead of taking the exact same physics from the animated film into the live action film.
yeah.
You know what I
That
mean?
that seems a little maybe dishonest isn't the right word, but yeah, like if you're gonna make it live action with people, why don't you strive to make the dragon look real? Like
Right.
I always thought the dragon looked a little silly anyway. What is it? He's called toothless, right? Like he's a dragon without teeth.
Yep.
Yeah,
You're supposed to be modeled at, it's like a very cat. It's like a feline type dragon, right? So they make him
uh,
the character of the dragon is very much like how you would have a pet cat, right?
interesting. Okay.
Only he's got retractable teeth. All of the physics, the animation,
Why?
the way they
Why is
model
he?
him.
Why's the dragon a retractable?
I don't know,
So
dude.
can
I
you
don't
imagine
know.
like biologically how that would work? Like what a fucking mess. Like there's no reason for your teeth ever. We're debating a fucking fictional dragon. Never mind. It's
Right.
irrelevant, you know.
What would be more scary, a toothless dragon or a dragon with teeth? I don't know.
A
Which
dragon
one?
with retractable teeth would be fucking horrifying. Like,
It would be,
what
yeah.
if it was pretending to be your friend until you were in its mouth? And
Yeah.
then the
And
teeth.
it's like, die, you Jedi. Yeah, that's a home run. You guys, can you imagine if we had these when we were kids? I mean, these are incredible. I mean, if you wanted to feel like a real life Jedi or a Sith Lord, you got to get one of these lightsabers. I mean, it's just insane. You guys, we are halfway through this week's episode of Guns and Cameras, and that means it's time for me to tell you it's been brought to you by 1156 Productions. If you need video or photo production at a high level for your brand, for your marketing purposes, social media, brand awareness, whatever, go to 1156 Productions. Fill out that contact form. I would love to work with you guys. Also, this has been brought to you by Tokens of Valor. Tokens of Valor is my boutique jewelry company that I'm working on, where I take ballistic components like brass and copper and sterling silver to create one-of-a-kind, hand-forged, wearable works of art. If you're interested in getting some custom ballistic jewelry made for yourself, go right now to Instagram, go to @tokensofvalor, send me a DM, we'll get something started for you. Also, fun fact, I'm working on a website for Tokens of Valor that's gonna have kind of some, obviously it's just gonna be a place where you can go check out the merch, check out the jewelry, maybe buy some pieces. So stay tuned for more information about that. Also, speaking of websites, at 1156productions.com, if you go to the menu and go to brand store, you will find a whole bunch of cool Guns and Cameras merchandise, including t-shirts, tanks, long sleeve tees, stickers. I'm working on the patches listing. But if you buy anything on that site, thank you. All of the funds is just going back to keeping this dream alive. I really appreciate it. Now that all that stuff's out of the way, let's get back into talking about Larry Hastings, also known as Vulture Productions on Instagram. Larry is wicked talented, and man, do I love seeing guys that can take their hands, some paint, some glue, some random objects, and turn them into things like lightsabers, science fiction weapons, armor, tanks, sets, all that stuff. I think it's wicked cool, and that's a big part of why I love working in the media space to begin with. It's just being able to play with cool stuff like this. I mean, you guys, come on. Serenity. I don't know what that means, but I do like the show. If you guys, so that all that being said, you guys, let's get back into the rest of this week's episode of Guns and Cameras while I get into slaying me. Oh, it's blue now. I guess I'm a Jedi now. I'm gonna go kill some robots. Crazy. Well, hey, if you're game, so this is what I do with a lot of the guests. I have your Instagram pulled up, and I'm at the very first photo.
Okay.
I'm going to screen share real quick, and we're just going to rip through some of your content. I want you to kind of unpack some of the costumes you got up here.
Let's do it.
One of the things that I always love hearing about from costume and prop designers is the stuff, like the everyday things that you've used and redesigned or hacked to make into something else.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share my screen real quick, and we're going to go through some of your work.
Yeah.
All right, man. One of the cool things about Instagram is you have like a living timeline of your portfolio. So talk to us about the first couple images here.
So it looks like the first 5 or 6 pictures there from DragonCon 2013 or 14, maybe. So that was
Nice.
right after the Mandalorian days there. I did a custom Wastelander.
Yep.
You can see I got the Pit Boy 3000 from Fallout 3 or New Vegas on my wrist there. And then
Yep.
I did like a tire shoulder armor, which is a real tire. And then I got a ton of spark plug spikes sticking out of it because I just thought that was cool as hell. Those pants were a fucking nightmare, man. Like they ripped every other day. I just had to keep stitching them, but it looked more in theme. And then that little thing sitting on top of my head was kind of like a mask that I made out of like a wire mesh
Right.
airsoft mask, you know. And I just stitched leather to it and sculpted
Yeah.
some little bones. But a lot of the stuff that's on
Nice.
there is just like found material, like a lot of trash that I made wearable,
Yep.
basically. You know, it was a fun costume.
So where do you go to, like, when you're building a costume like that? Do you have like a place that you go to try to find some of these things, or
Yeah,
uh,
not really.
do you,
There used to be like a pretty big warehouse up in Ohio. They used to just sell just junk, and that was kind of like a maker's paradise, you know. But they're gone.
yep.
But you know, More times than
So
not, I look for like vintage military stuff. None of it is ever American, just because I think as Americans it's
yeah,
easily identifiable. Like if you wore like a bar belt from World War II or an Alice rig, you would immediately tell what it was. You know what I mean?
oh yeah,
So I look for like Soviet era crap. You know?
nice. Have you started? Here's your. It looks like this is the Boba Fett.
Yeah, that's him, man. Yeah, that's the custom Mando.
That's
See,
what's up.
got that little
Or Mando. That's the Mando suit.
yeah, got that little
Yeah,
blaster hanging on the hip.
dude, that
Um,
looks awesome.
I cut like this little stupid bicycle reflector light and put it inside that thing. So like when people would take photos with a flash on it, it would look like I was shooting
That
at them.
That's dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was just something stupid I did. It was just an interesting little thing nobody else had done to that point. Yeah,
Yeah.
check the,
So do you have like a which one?
uh, go up two to your right, the one with the one more, go down one. Yeah, that one.
This one?
Yeah. So that's like the complete look of the gunslinger Mando that I did there.
Dude.
Like shitty photos just because of the cameras at the time that I was using.
Yeah.
But it sucks you can't see the blaster or the little repeater rifle with a drum hanging off the side because that made sense. You know,
Yep.
Star
Oh yeah,
Wars,
totally.
Star Wars.
Do you still have all these? At
No,
least like, do you have them? No.
no. A lot of the stuff that I mean, I have a few of those things, but most of like the Mando, I got into a really bad car accident years ago, and
Mm.
I needed to sort some things out, so I ended up selling that thing. It sold like a hot cake though, man. Like as soon as I put it
Oh,
online, it
I'm
was
sure.
gone within 30 minutes. You know.
Dude, no doubt. Look at this guy.
Yeah, that's the guy to the right there. He actually made that power armor. I think that was 2015, 16 maybe.
Dang.
That's at Dragon Con too, but that's my buddy Danny. He was the first person to ever make like power armor to scale, but it wasn't 3D printed. It was all fiberglass. It was an old art style called Pepa.
Oh dang.
Yeah, it's called Pepakura. You like you print out the templates on paper, and then you fiberglass the back of said paper, and then you
Holy
just
cow.
build it up until it's rigid enough to wear, and it's a insane a lot amount of work.
That's gotta take forever, man.
Yeah,
Holy
it
smokes.
took him about 8 months, I think. Yeah, that's another one of the Wastelanders I did there. You see the same pants, same exact
Yep,
pants.
same pants.
uh,
That's what's up, dude.
just different top. Man, that thing was crazy too. It started at the vest I'm wearing. It started out as like a hockey vest, like a goalie's vest or something,
Oh yeah, right on.
and then I just like added strips of leather to it. Bolted some go-kart tire for ab sections, and I found a guy that sold props of an MG 42. No, that's not a 42. I think it's a 36.
Yeah.
And I just love that thing, just the buzz saw, and I want it like this
Yep.
really heavy Raider look, So like you mentioned Vikings earlier, never done Viking stuff
Yep.
like historical Vikings. I've always done like after the bombs Vikings. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think they're way cooler.
Yep. I dig it. Way cooler. Yep.
Yeah.
So do you have like have you started hoarding or stockpiling just different pieces of equipment or things that you thought might make
You mean?
good props or
Oh yeah, yeah. I got a ton of just crap. I have like four big totes full of just different leather straps. Um, I forget what's that surplus site that's always selling crap. Like you can find, I think it's Sportsman's Guide. I think.
yep,
I
sportsman.
They have some of the most eccentric shit on there. So I just grab up like just they had like these 12 packs of these leather straps, and they were like maybe 16 inches long, but I grabbed all of them. I bought like $1,000 worth of these leather straps, and I still have a ton. So it's like that costume right there that you're on, the Raider like with the cage around the head. Um,
Oh yeah, this one right here.
yeah, so that one I used a bunch of those leather straps to strap the armor itself to me. Um,
Yeah.
because like I didn't want to use nylon. Like black nylon just looks stupid on something like that. You want something really a little bit more visceral and alive, like leather. It just looks better. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You don't want like stupid parachute buckles all over you. You know, it's so dumb.
Dude, that's awesome. That would be for me. That would be a thing. Would be stockpiling just random stuff that I'd come across. I'd be like, that needs to be something in my collection to be used
Yeah,
at a later date.
1,000%. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah,
I got a bunch of stuff like that. Yeah, for
no
sure.
kidding. When you're out and about looking at stuff, is that where your brain's at all the time? Kind of thinking like, ooh, that would be a good
Yeah,
this, that, or whatever, right?
yeah. Many a time, me and my wife have been going somewhere out of state, and I will have to pull over on the highway to pick up some trash. Like she's like, "What is that?" It's like, "I don't know. It looks really cool." Like I gotta go see what that is. we were in Florida a couple years ago on vacation, me and my wife and my son, and she loves the beach. Not a big fan of it. I don't care. We
Yep.
have a beach 30 minutes from us, but she wants to go to a Florida beach. Um, so by like day 3 or 4 when we were down there, I kept telling her, I was like, I gotta get the hell out of here. She goes, why? He's like, I have to just go home and make something. Like this is
Yep.
fucking stupid. Like I hate this. Like let's go work. She goes, you don't always have to be working. It's like, yeah, but I like to. You know. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that thing. So that,
That's cool.
yeah, my buddy makes Star Wars guns, and it's just like he casts the receiver of that thing. I think that's the 34 or the
Yeah.
36 or 42 receiver. I can't remember. I think the only difference is the barrel on those two. But I wanted to make it a double barrel of that for some stupid reason, so that's what I did. Just
That's awesome.
PVC pipes and some steel Tapcons, you know, or something like that. I
That's
can't
awesome.
remember. Yeah, a lot of crap.
Dude, some of these are awesome.
Yeah, the same guy who makes the Star Wars stuff made that's a 3D print with like 100% infill, so that thing weighed like 4 pounds. And I
Dude.
actually dropped like 4 inches off of the barrel of that guy. But I did like a Blade Runner cyberpunk type of detective costume, and that was the gun I wanted for that. I just wanted some hand cannon for it, and so it's like, yeah, that sells. Yeah,
That's
you
awesome.
see that skull right there in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that thing, we have a post-apocalyptic tribe, and when we were inducting new members, we would pour like I don't know this crazy moonshine my buddy brews. We would pour that in there, and we'd have them all drink it from the head of the skull cup, and it's like it's
Nice.
life size, But like
No way.
yeah, dude, it's insane. But we'd all be like chanting, and at the bottom on the inside of the skull, like towards where the neck bone would connect, there's a challenge coin that I resined in there. That's like our tribe logo, which is like it's this skull with spark plugs around it, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we'd all just be chanting our little tribe chant while the people were drinking out of the moonshine skull. It's just so funny. It was wild times, man, wild times.
Dude, I love it.
Yeah, I still got that thing though. It's always fun, man.
Dude, and some of these, I was looking at some of these things. I'm like, man, that's intense.
Yeah, so there,
It's up.
me and Cyberpunk before the game came out, they
Yeah.
released like a costume contest. It was going to be international. So I was looking through some of the characters, and they were all pretty stupid, except that guy. So I reached out to my buddy Nate, and I was like, dude, do you think we could do this? And he goes, yeah, I think we can. So we start planning it out. We start rough sketching, like two-dimensional sketches and everything, and then 3D sketches, and then we start sculpting. And it took maybe 7 months on and off with our day jobs to bring that guy to life. But when we did,
Dang.
yeah, it was insane. So yeah, that's what the prosthetic looks like when I'm not wearing it. And if you look where the eye sockets normally are,
Yeah.
it's basically like a goggle. So like all the black is plastic and all the skin looking stuff is like a really nasty silicone. But
Yep.
people are always asking like, how can you see in that? The lights are so bright. It's like, yeah, well, the lights are in front of my eyes, stupid. Like what? Like why would I ever wear? Why would I wear a costume if I can't see out of it? You know what I mean? Like how dumb would that be? Um,
Yeah, dude. That's
it's gnarly, dude. Like I still have that too. That was the first one we made. We made two of them. The second one we made down the line, we did like hair punching on it and stuff too. Like it was a freshly shaved head, and it just feels
yep.
so fucking nasty, dude. Like it feels like a big nut sack. Like it's the
Yeah.
worst. It's the
I
absolute worst.
imagine.
Like 5 o'clock shadow on the nut sack is what it feels like.
Oh,
Uh, so
dude. Well,
my buddy Nate, Marybeard on Instagram, he did all the sculpting for the head prosthetic and everything that's above the neck, everything from the neck
yeah.
down. I put together for that costume. It was a custom stitched leather jacket. It wasn't something we found and repurposed. It was completely handmade. Same thing with the pants
Dude.
and the belt and everything. So like all the little hoses on the jacket, I had to source all those. It's like a hose and then a hose sleeve and some other crap. But like all the stenciling on the jacket, if you see there's like those vertical red linings on the inside of the jacket, there's supposed to be some type of
Oh yeah,
computer
yeah.
component or something. I don't know, but those are all scratch built and everything. Like everything on that costume was one of a kind. You know, it it
No way.
it was an albatross at the time, but the Spartan still has it beat. For sure. Like the Spartan
No
has it
kidding.
beat.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Do you still have this? You still have this outfit?
yeah, the cyberpunk one. Yeah, I sure
Yeah,
do.
dude, that's what's up.
Yeah, I mean,
What kind of like? I mean, if you had to, and if this is an inappropriate like breach of trade secrets, whatever. I mean, but
shoot, man.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm an artist, so I understand like the amount of time that goes into building something like that. But if you had to try to put a value on something like that,
Sure.
what would it be? You know what I
For
mean?
the whole costume,
Yeah,
probably about
head to foot.
$8,000 or so for sure,
Dang.
and about 3,000, 4 or 5,000. I mean, I'm just spitballing a number, but
Yeah, yeah,
about maybe about 4 or 5,000 would be just for the prosthetic, just because how long it takes to make. So like, it's not that much manual labor, but the mold that we have, it's gel encapsulated. So basically, you have to like, what are those? Like you have to syringe in the silicone into this really complex
yeah.
fiberglass mold, and then you have to plug these air holes as it goes up, and the silicone leaks out of it. So it's like
Jeez.
it's not time intensive to make, but it's labor intensive to a certain extent. I mean,
Yeah,
like it's not hard work, but it's like cautious work, really cautious work.
yeah,
Yeah, and that you see
dude.
the
It's
little boy there. That's my son Ollie. I forget how. I think maybe 2 or 3, but
that's awesome.
he wanted to do some Mad Max stuff, so we made him a little costume.
That's awesome,
Yeah, I had
dude. I love it.
those like little kid leashes. I
Yeah,
had one of those on him, like I was like dragging him around the convention, like no, don't bite him, don't bite the people. It was really funny. Everybody loved that.
dude, that's great.
Yeah,
I love it.
that was a fun rig to make right there too. I wanted to do like a World War I inspired. I called it the Trench Warrior, but I wanted to do like a World War
Yeah,
One post-apocalyptic, just kind of a whatever soldier, and really heavily inspired by like the German World War II A-frame. Um,
yep.
like MP40 pouches dangling off the left. I had an MP40. I ran around with it too, but I don't know what the hell happened to that thing, or that costume for that matter. I don't know where that ended up going, but somebody's got it, I'm sure. You know.
Dude, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was a fun little, just a little, hey, let's do something different. You know, I
Yeah,
think that was
I
during
love it.
COVID. I think like early COVID. Yeah, yeah, more of the same
Dude,
guy.
these are crazy, man.
Yeah, so my son was into the animated Spider-Man series for a while, so he wanted to be Spider-Man for Halloween, and then I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna make a Carnage costume, and I took the same stuff that I learned from the cyberpunk thing, and all the prosthetics on me are silicone. So like there was 2 full arms and then the head piece, and man, it was
Dude,
like 2 months of work just to make sure he had a villain. Like it was just so funny, man. It was just
worth it
a
though,
thousand percent,
right?
one
Look
thousand
at yeah,
percent.
look at this, unreal, dude.
So, dude, even crazier, the tendrils on the arm. So I had these strings running down the inside of the silicone arm, and they would end up on rings, right? So I did some heat forming for plastic, and I made some rings, and these strings would go into that, and so the strings would go up into the tendrils. So when I moved my fingers, the tendrils would move around all crazy too.
No way, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it was like internally puppeteering your own costume while you were wearing it. It
Crazy,
was just like
crazy.
I could totally figure that out. So I figured it out, and like some of them were just wrapped around my arm, and they would just like dangle a little bit. The other ones would like flare out at people. It was just for one night though. I just wore that costume one night. 2 months of work for one good night of my son.
Worth it.
Yeah, that thing right there, man. That was originally a Red Hood helmet, like the DC
Yeah,
anti-hero,
yeah.
and it was like, it's kind of boring sitting there all red. Let's do it Wasteland, So, and then that just took on a mind of its own. Uh, there's so many. There's just if you notice on a lot of those costumes, there's just a ton of trash that's like screwed
Yep.
and bolted to them. But it's like that really gives it that post-apocalyptic vibe. Like the
Oh yeah.
the photo to your top right and to your top left at the top of your screen there. Yeah,
Up here.
yeah. So like that was my daughter and my son's first convention with me, a local convention we
Nice.
go to, and that was a hoot, man, because like I had to instead of just having one kid, I had to have both kids. And if you would go to the photo to the left of that one.
This one.
Yeah. So this guy, see me and my daughter walking in. I don't know where my wife and my son ran off to, but this was just an absolutely candid shot. Like he just hollered for us, and we turned around, and that was what he got. And to this day, that is still one of my favorite photos I've ever had taken of me, just because my daughter's in it. It
Yep.
was just so
It's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, I love it. Just, hey, and then we just turned, and there it is. Just walking around a bunch of geeks.
It's what's up. It's
It was the
awesome.
best, the best. Yeah, that was a good
Man,
weekend.
no kidding. And then we're getting up into some ODST stuff.
Yeah. So that
Dude, these look so good, man. These are so good.
yeah, well that kit there, my buddy Sean Bradley, he makes those. So that was it, he just gives you, it's like a stormtrooper set. You get all the armor
Yep.
and a bunch of pieces and you have to put it together. So
Yep.
it's just a vacuum form kit, but that was the second one I ever did. And instead of doing like all of the armor parts, I got rid of the ab sections except like their little
Yeah.
IFAK box on their center abdomen. And then I was like, I'm gonna put some cool ass pouches on here. So I custom made some pouches, and then the same with the frat or the smokes right there. Those are just some old
Yep.
Thunder B airsoft grenades. I'm sure you probably remember those, don't you?
I do. Yep.
Yeah. So it was like, I wonder if they still make those things. And then like you, I airsofted for a long time too.
Yep.
But it was like, I wonder if those things are still out there in the world. So I was able to find some. And then I'm in the right, and my brother's in the left. And when I built those costumes, he was like, "Well, I kind of want them to look the same, like they belong to the same unit, but have their own touches of
Yep.
personalization." So there's a whole lot of that.
Yep.
And like I would run either the SMG that I have shouldered there, or the Halo Reach sniper. So I wanted to put some additional rounds on my shoulder for that. And then, oh yeah, I
Nice.
forgot, I
Yeah.
made the DMR too for my brother. Just like
Dude,
there's all these crazy things, man. And it was such a fast project. It was like 3 months, and I had both those things turned out.
dude,
Yeah.
insane.
Well, I can do it even faster now, which is the fun part. It's like,
That's so crazy. I can't even tell you how badly I want to do a shoot with this stuff. It's so cool,
where
dude.
do you live at?
I'm in Washington State.
Oh man, you're so far away.
I know. I've been to Cincinnati a couple times. I have a buddy that used to live there. Now I think he lives in Oregon, but no, Cincinnati's nice.
Well, now you got another guy that lives in Cincinnati. Come on over, man.
Yeah, right, dude. I really, really, really want to shoot something with some of this stuff in it because it's awesome.
Let's do it, man. I'm here. You know,
All right.
I got like ten local hell jumpers on call at any given time. I can say, hey, we're
Dude,
gonna go
let's
shoot
go.
next week. They're like, okay, when, where? You know. Um,
Yeah, dude.
so funny
Um,
enough about some of those pictures of the full kits of the ODSTs, like that video you were on the thumbnail for that. Uh, when the Russo-Ukrainian conflict kicked off, somebody somewhere, I think it's like the Russian Vox, said
yeah.
said that they were like U.S. supplied exo suits or something like that that the Yukis were getting. I still have the link. I'll send it to you after this, so so I'm
Yeah,
not
send it to me.
bullshitting. But it's so funny. Like they use this as war propaganda, and it was like,
Re-
yes,
really?
yeah, dude.
That's what's up.
It was like the Russian Vox, whatever, news was like, yeah, look at these new exosuits the Ukrainians are getting from the U.S. And then there was like the Vox news website had to debunk it, and then somebody reached out to me. I didn't see it till months later, but it was like, hey, are you supplying Ukraine with these? And it's like, who the fuck are you? Like he shows me this link from a few months ago, and I was like, no
This is
way.
this is this is the face you give him right here with the meme
Yeah,
where it's like, yes, I supplied them with these.
yes, absolutely. I don't,
Excuse
little
me,
do they know, I don't like either of them. So,
dude. No,
I don't got no family over there.
dude, crazy man.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot happening there, man. And you see there that photo with us next to the fire. Um, we were inspired
Yeah.
by the Halo 3. The sequence where all the ODSTs are sticking around a fire.
Yep.
I think it's called the We Are ODST trailer, and we wanted to do a similar
Yeah.
shoot. But funny enough, a couple hours before we did that, we were shooting our film that night too, but we just decided to get that photo because it fucks hard. Um,
Oh yeah.
but a few hours before I got there, I got stung in the lip by a bee. So like, you probably can't notice until I say it.
You right.
Yeah,
You got a little bit.
yeah,
Now I see it.
yeah, dude. I was on the roof working with my buddy.
Makes you look tough. It looks like you got punched in the
It
face
looks
or
like
something like
something.
that.
Yeah, it was on the roof laying tar with my buddy. And this fucking bee just come up out of nowhere and stung me right in the lip. It's like great. Like my fucking face was swelled up for like hours, bro. Like I had to ice it when we weren't on camera and we weren't shooting, like intermittently.
Oh
It was
man,
it was the fucking worst, dude. Like it was just everybody's clowning on me the whole night.
dude. No doubt, man. I'm sure they.
It was pretty fun. It's like, oh yeah, yeah. Look right there to the left, up to the left one. Um,
Oh, right here.
yeah, that's
Oh yeah.
that's the people. Like that's the website.
NATO handed over the exoskeletons to the military of the armed forces of Ukraine as part of a land lease. Come on, dude.
Yeah, and that's us. Like that's our
That
shit.
that's what's up.
It was so funny. Again,
That's
I'll
so
still
funny.
send you the link so you can like translate and
Please.
read the whole article. It's hilarious.
Yeah, send it to me.
Yeah, man, it's so fucking funny.
That's so funny.
Yeah, check that out.
Yo, dude, these just are getting nuts, man. That's like
Yeah, so that's
that's
when
so badass, man.
those are our personal homemade stuff. So you can see the chick on the far right. I think she's like 5'2". She's really short,
Yep.
but the kits can fit there up to like 6'5". I'm 6 foot even, and I'm in the middle. But the guy on the far
Nice.
left, that's my buddy Daryl. That
Yeah.
was the first.
Dude, he's huge,
Yeah,
man.
6'7", huge guy.
Yeah.
So like I never have to worry about getting into a fight if he's around. I'm Gucci. I can say and do whatever I want. You know.
No kidding.
But that was our first foray into making Spartans. So that's a Spartan outfit from Halo Infinite. It's called the Rakshasa,
Nice.
and
Yep.
we did a pair of those in 28 days for Dragon Con in Atlanta, and I didn't even wear
Heck,
mine.
man.
I was like, I'm gonna wear the ODST. It's way cooler looking, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
Dude, I love you have that there's like a what it looks like a sniper round up here on the goggles and everything. It's just like
oh yeah, yeah on her. Yeah,
that's
so
like
in the film, her role was supposed to be like the sniper chick because she's small and nimble. So like,
yep.
but since the sniper rifle's like 6 foot long, it would have looked stupid with her carrying it around. So we
Yep.
made a DMR and then we took the sniper scope and put it on top of the DMR from Reach. And
Nice.
we even had like a retractable cord that would come out of the goggle and plug into the scope of the rifle. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was supposed to be something that happened on the film where she got like murdered from by an elite, but you wouldn't see it because the screen would be focused on what the scope was seeing. Like she got ripped out of her
Ooh,
helmet, and you just hear her struggling and getting stabbed.
dude, that's
It
crazy.
was gonna be pretty visceral.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about what you're doing with the November Black
Um,
production stuff.
so we're taking everything back before the Covenant happens, for
Cool.
a myriad of reasons. Just because like the insurgency that was happening, it was like there's like this neo-communist organization and there's like this neo-fascist organization, and it's basically about these ODSTs fighting man to man. And like World War II was a fucking mess, right? But it's a
Yep.
human conflict. So instead of having it like somebody you can't resonate with, like an alien, we want to make it to where like there would be a sympathetic view of either side. So like the UNSC, they've committed their fair share of war crimes in Halo lore, and so have the insurrectionists. But it's like the whole premise of it was supposed to be highlighting the insurrectionist war that happened before the Covenant's invasion, and then towards the end of it, we were going to do a small nod to the Covenant making their way into human space, and then like
Yeah.
if it went well, who knows? Maybe we'll come back and do another one with the Covenant. But it's just I wanted to really highlight the humanity and either side struggle. You know what I mean? Like one man's terrorist
Yeah.
and another man's freedom fighter type of deal.
Yeah, which I think speaks right to where you pick up in Reach. And that's why I like that game above just about any of the other ones in the Halo line was
Yeah,
you kind of get a little bit of a window into the conflict that was happening between humans in the
the Annies.
what is it, colonized space, right?
Yeah,
And the different factions, and then you have the introduction of the Covenant, and then on top of that, then you have the flood and all the other stuff that comes with the Halo story. But
yeah. But after Reach, it just gets it's so science fiction that like you can't really like you're happy to kill the Covenant. It's fine. But like
yeah,
when you're meeting the insurrectionists on Reach throughout some of the game, they're like, "We're here. We didn't want to leave during the evacuation because this is our home. Like, we're here with our kids, our families. This is our home.
yep,
We're staying here." And it's like,
yep,
man, fucking balls. It's,
right,
but it's like I think a lot of guys a lot of guys have like that last man stand type of fetish. You know what I mean? Like I'll hold them
oh yeah,
off. You guys get out of here. My wife was telling me that the other day. She goes, nobody has that fantasy. I was like, every fucking man you've ever met has that fantasy. And she's like,
oh, 100%, 100%.
she's like, no, that's so unrealistic and stupid. I was like, you're unrealistic and stupid. Like, like that's guy stuff. You just don't understand.
Totally is. Like we are all the hero of our own story, man. In every guy's story, it's like you're alone on a hill and you've got your weapons and you're like, this is how I go.
Until I'm out of ammo.
And then
You know.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, 100%. dude. And then it just gets better. Like it's fun to see how you just refine and refine and refine, because by the time we get up here, I mean, these ODST suits are looking pretty sharp.
Well, those are just action
Um,
figures, you know, like some.
well, these are action figures.
Yeah, so those look way under detailed for us. Some guy loved
Well,
them so much.
I picked the wrong picture. I'm gonna edit this part out of the
Yeah,
podcast.
good
That's
job.
100%.
Failure.
Thanks for that, man. Now I
Um,
feel stupid.
the,
Um,
do you know Phase Line and
but
Threat Llama, I assume?
yeah,
I made custom ODST helmets for them, just like a
cool.
trade work for work type of deal. But you know, like I
Yeah,
really like their stuff. They like mine, so we worked out a pretty good deal between both of them. I did
yeah,
one helmet for each of them. It's pretty cool stuff.
dude.
Yeah, and then
But I mean,
there's so much.
yeah, we get up here and it's just like, man, this stuff is all looking awesome.
Yeah,
This is
there's enough to shake a stick
pretty
at, that's
close
for
to
sure.
talking. That's for sure.
I recycle some photos when I don't have anything better to post, obviously. So,
No, you're good.
check that photo, right, go down right there in the middle. Yeah, that one. So there's where we were at Nate's gun drummer with the Flux Raiders. I
Sweet.
kitted mine out. I think it's Romeo 5 on it. My brother kind of suited them up for me. But man, those things are really something. If you click back and then go to the right one as well, real quick. Yeah, that right
Right
there.
here.
Yeah. So that's gun drummer, man. Nate,
Dude,
he's such a fucking animal, bro. I love that guy. Like his wife was so generous. She brings us up like pulled pork, and we're sitting there making sandwiches. And he goes, "Bro, you got to shoot that 50." And I was like, "Yeah, you know what? I think I do." So I'm sitting there eating pulled pork, and I just like one hand shot a Barrett, and it was like, "Fuck, that was
yeah,
awesome,
dude,
dude."
that's what's up.
Yeah,
That's
there's a
awesome.
video
I love
somewhere of me doing that. It's so funny.
it.
Just smashing pulled pork and shooting a Barrett. It was the best. I love that guy, man.
Dude, okay. Yeah, no, he seems awesome. But let's I mean, so going back to what I said earlier about the action figures,
Hmm.
I'm gonna have to leave this in now, but I mean, look at these. I mean, these costumes are so refined at this point. I mean, this looks awesome.
Yeah.
Um, I mean that right there. If you were to send that over to the Russia-Ukraine conflict and want to create some propaganda, I'd be like, yeah, I'd buy it. I'd be like, all right, what's
I
this stuff?
I have a few guys who are current clients that's been reaching out to me. One of them's he's attached to Seventh Group on deployment right now, and
Yep.
he's having me make him a custom ODST. He's not Seventh, but he's attached to him. He's Seaburn, and I'm doing a lot of Seaburn-esque things to his kit, specifically to his occupation.
Nice.
And then
That's what's up.
yeah, and then there's a couple. A GIGN guy reached out to me like last year, and I make those like shy guys from Mario, like the white face dudes.
Yeah, yeah.
He wanted me. He goes, "Hey, how much do you sell those for?" And I told him, and he goes, "I need 20." And I was like, "What do you need 20 for?" And he goes, "We're going on deployment in a few months, and me and my guys all want to take them with us." Like, oh my god, like
No, dude.
it's like, where are you deploying to? He goes, does it really matter? I said, no, I just want to know who the fuck you're going to be scaring the hell out of. Like kicking down a door, and just a bunch of shy guys running
A
your
bunch of
house.
shy guys running around.
Just a bunch of
Fuck you.
people, shy guys at rifles, just wow. You know what I mean? It'd be so funny. You're trying to tell this Haji to get on the ground. Wow, wow, wow. It's so funny to consider like warfare is a game anymore, you know? Like,
Dude, oh, totally. I mean, especially if you, jeez, that'd be so funny.
yeah,
That
well,
needs to be shot.
I,
Now I need to shoot that.
Well, so I told them that I've had so many really cool customers that are either former or current service. A handful of SF guys have reached out to me. One of them is like a jump master down at Bragg. And he was telling me, he goes, "Yeah, dude, I need 5 helmets, and I want to get a video of all of us jumping out of this thing with helmets on." And
With dude.
yeah, he goes, "Do you think they'd work? Do you think they'd survive a jump?" I was like, "Fuck, man, I don't know. You know, I think like I've never been on a jump, so probably, but."
Just put some extra glue on those ones.
Yeah, something, man.
Makes you there a
Yeah,
little more jump ready.
yeah. Then there's another guy that's really cool. He's like I guess it's not a door gunner, but he's a gunner on an Osprey. Whatever big ass minigun they shoot out of that thing. He sent me a video of him ripping rounds on one of those wearing one of my helmets. He's like, dude, this is so fucking hard. Like,
Dude, the next thing you know, your stuff's gonna be in the next like army recruitment video. Like, go army. There's a bunch of guys coming in and ODST armor and running miniguns out of helicopters wearing your masks and stuff.
well, I would
Dude.
totally be okay if it were for the Army, but if it's for the Navy or the Air Force, I'm not cool with that.
No.
Yeah. A few of the guys that actually come over that are in our group, they're a bunch of, it's like mostly former Marines, like two guys that were in the Army, and it's just so funny all the banter. Like I never served, but growing up I was an Army brat. Dad and Grandpa were both they were both LERPs, Desert Storm in Vietnam,
Yeah.
so it was like,
Gotcha.
I'm Army all the way, man. I wanted to join, but then it was like, nah, Uncle Sam can't pay me enough to get shot at. Like I should have joined, but. Instead, I think I'm making okay strides considering where I'm at. You know.
Hey, man. It's not for everybody. It wasn't for me. I never served either.
Yeah.
I thought about it all the time. I still think about it, like even up to like I think I'm about aged out now for any opportunities, but it was always my fallback, if something went bad. If I failed really hard at the stuff I was trying to do at the time, I'm like that would be my fallback, but
Yeah.
it just hasn't happened, so and that's fine. But
Yeah. Life's an interesting roller coaster, man. You never know what's gonna
right.
happen. Like, what is it they used to say? Like everybody's 3 meals away from freaking out. You know. So
Yep.
it's like
Oh
just
yeah.
just take it day by day. Just hope everything clears up and goes well. I mean, shit can only be so bad for so long. Just like it could only be good, so good for so long. You know.
Right. Yeah, man. Truth. All right. So this is I'm gonna hit you with this question. This is a question I ask everybody on the show. It's the oh shit moment question. Could be bad. We all have an oh shit moment,
Sure.
right? What, Larry, is your oh shit moment?
Mm. Like throughout life, or
Yeah. So usually when I'm talking to camera guys, it's usually something like, well, hey, I forgot an SD card on an important shoot, or I forgot to hit record, or accidentally formatted a whole day's worth of shooting.
oh, that would fucking suck.
But it could also be like, oh dang, I sent this piece of armor out without clear coat on it, or it could
Yeah.
be,
Probably
um,
showing up to do video shoots and trying to keep continuity and forgetting a pretty crucial piece of kit like my rucksack. I forgot that on so many different shoots because it doesn't fit in the fucking Pelican crate with all my armor,
mhm.
so it's just like bouncing around and I forget it. So probably that like contemporarily. But if I could be super basic, I'd probably say when I found out my wife was pregnant was a pretty big oh shit moment. Like things are gonna change, and
Dude, that's a real one.
yeah, dude. Well, I mean, being a dad, you understand, but it's like, like how severe are things going to change in my life? Like, am I going to be able to continue doing everything I love? And it's cool because all four of mine are ingratiated in my life, and like all my friends, all the ODSTs and the Spartans that are in my local group, they're very close with my family. Family's very close with them. They all love each other. I'm very, very just happy and blessed that I have this core group of people around me anymore. Like I've made
Yeah.
so many friends in 10 years, and like I started a few groups, and I've kept so many good people out of each one of those groups, and it's just all culminated to be where I am today, and I'm just really happy about that. You know, and man,
Dude.
it's just really humbling. Is all.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I love it. Like um, my son, right, is all about what I do, which is great.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to include him more in it now because he's kind of getting older. He's old enough now that he kind of gets that the gear is not toys, right?
Hmm.
It's it's hard to explain that because to me, like it is. It's like I get a new piece of gear and I'm like, ooh, I just want to go play with it.
Yeah.
And I get for him it's the same way. The only thing is like the other day I just bought a new piece of gear for the shoot that I'm going down to in a couple of weeks. And I'm stoked about it. Super high tech. It's a slider that pairs with my Ronin gimbal, so I can basically set waypoints and have these super controlled motions. Like for example, if I was shooting your ODST guys, you could pose up with a flux or that 50, and I could set this thing to basically, you know, rotate and robotically move all around that weapon, and then repeat it, which would be sweet.
That's
I
insane.
don't know. It's hard. It's going to be awesome. So the shoot that's coming up, I'm pretty stoked about it. But the kids were enthralled with it. I'm like, hey, do you want to come down and help me like learn this piece of gear and set it up? And he was all about it. So it's yeah. But I remember vividly that moment for me with my kid. It was like it was. I think it was right before we went to the hospital for delivery is when it really like was the oh shit moment for me because I was like,
Yeah.
okay, like up until this point, it has been mostly the same, but after today, it's going to be a completely different life for
Yeah.
the remainder of my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and well, I
Um,
mean, you don't realize it biologically was happening to your wife too, like post delivery. She gets that postpartum depression. It's a lot to deal with,
mhm.
man. And it's
Yeah.
never easy. So, but it's
No.
like just bitches going crazy. It's like
Yeah.
tell her to chill out or something. Yeah, that's gonna work. Like
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and somehow to us it's like, hey, just chill. That I tried that line. It didn't work out so well for
No,
me.
it
I don't
never
know
does.
how well it went for you, but
Not probably the same.
um,
Yeah.
hey Larry, we're coming up on an hour, man. What's a good piece of advice that you could give to people who are one interested in starting out in your industry?
Mhm.
What's something that you wish you that you know now that you wish you knew when you first started out?
Uh, I'd say for getting started, just do it. Like, it's going to be stupid the first time you do it, but the first step of being good at something is sucking at it. But you have to do it. You have
Mm,
to suck. And something I wish I knew initially was that you're going to suck. You know, like just don't be so hard on yourself. Don't overthink shit. Don't be like if you're making something look dirty, don't be afraid to ruin it. That's the fun. It's supposed to look like shit. So if you're weathering something, make it look like shit. Don't be so strategic about weathering. It's so I just fucking hate that when people do that, man. It's just like gotta be careful. Just do it. Just do it. Quit being a pussy. But you can do whatever you want. As cliche as that sounds, but you really can. I'm living proof of it. Just like Josh here is. Yeah, man,
mm.
just get out there, do what you got to do, make it as best as you can, and if anybody ever needs any help or guidance, my chat's always open. My time is the same as anybody else's. If I can help you, if it's in my power, I'll do it, regardless what it is. If you have questions, advice, or critique, or just whatever, man. I just like talking to people. I talk a lot, so I'm Gucci. Also, Josh, we need to
That's
get you to Atlanta in September. You need to come out to
okay.
Dragon Con, man. We'll put you in a kit. I think you'll have
That
fun.
sounds awesome,
Yeah.
dude. I'm down. I was in Atlanta. When was I in Atlanta? Last time I think it was last fall. Hot down there, man.
Yeah, yeah, we go in September every
Humid.
year, really hot.
Yeah.
You know.
But that'd be awesome. I would happily go down and rock one of those kits, dude. Like I've got some ideas for some projects. Like I said, I have an idea for a sci-fi project. That okay, so I'll just tell you because I got you here. So my
Let's
plan
do it.
is I not only do I like filmmaking, but I also like acting. So one of the things that I'm trying to do is put together kind of a portfolio of acting stuff.
Hmm.
So I use Chat GPT, right, to basically take Hamlet's soliloquy, the to be
Okay.
or not to be scene from Hamlet, and turn that into a basically modernized sci-fi like Merc delivery, right? So if I was a mercenary in a post-apocalyptic scenario delivering those lines, what would that tone of voice be?
Mm.
What would the shot for shot be? So I kind of use Chat GPT to help me write out this script, and I have this whole plan of shooting this like low light fire science fiction esque scene of me cast delivering those lines to be kind of used as my like here's my reel for acting gigs maybe.
Mm.
um
I like that,
and so
man.
I'm working on that project this year, so I've got kind of an outfit put together for that I might use for that. I shot some test footage for it last fall at the location that I want to shoot this piece at, and I think it'd be dope. And if that turns into anything, hopefully down the road, like again, I'm all about it, dude. Like all of what you do, I love. It'd be so dope to rock at a con with an ODST armor set on. It'd be sweet.
Well, dude, there's a bunch of stuff that I'm not able to post online because of NDAs and stuff, but I'll privately show you some things I've done for some companies that's very up that like sci-fi, like
Dude,
post-apocalyptic but futuristic kind of tech and gear. Like, have you ever seen Elysium or District 9,
yeah,
stuff like that? Like,
yep,
I
love
loved on
both
that
of
shit.
those.
Like, Neil Blomkamp is a personal friend of mine, and
No way.
I've done shit for him just on a whim. Like, he'll hit me up like, hey, and it's like, there's that game he released, I think a couple years ago, but a lot of the costumes that are in that game I made. So it's just like, I made the real life versions of them, and he digitized them, whatever he did. But yeah, dude,
Yeah, that's awesome.
if you could squeeze Dragon Con, man, let me know. I'll hook it up.
Yeah, let me know. We'll talk about it because I'd love to do that. That'd be super fun. Larry, if somebody wants to hire you, get stuff from you, what's the best way that they can get in touch with you?
My Instagram for sure, or my
Okay.
Facebook. You can either look up my name, Larry Hastings. The picture will be pretty obvious, or you can look me up on Instagram under Vulture Productions, Vulture Productions, like the bird that eats dead shit, you know. So, but yeah, that's the best way to get
Dude,
in
that's what's
contact.
Awesome. All right, you guys, you heard him. If you want to check out some of Larry's work, be sure to go onto Instagram, go to @Vulture Productions, give him a follow, leave some comments, engage with his content, tell him how awesome his work is, because it is. It's legit awesome. If you want to hire him or get some stuff made, be sure to reach out exactly in the way that he said to just now. This has been awesome. Larry, thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate you, and I will definitely be reaching out to have some help on some projects. But also, again, if you ever need anything, I'd love to be a resource to you. You guys, this has been Guns and Cameras. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good night.
All right, you guys. It is the end of this week's episode of Guns and Cameras featuring Mr. Larry Hastings, aka Vulture Productions on Instagram. This is fun. You guys, I really appreciated Larry's point of view. I love his wisdom. I love his willing to create and experiment with materials, everyday household items, paint, silicone, 3D printing. I mean, it's awesome. Being a maker and a creator is where it's at, in my opinion. And that's why I do Tokens of Valor. I just love making things with my hands. I really love, too, his advice on just getting out there and doing something. You know, you're going to suck at it at first, but if you really want to excel at something, you just got to suck at it. Push through the suck, get to the other side. It'll be well worth your time and investment. So, you guys, I love goofing off with costumes and props. You know, I just think it makes everything more fun. So I'm going to for sure try to incorporate a little more theatrical stuff into future videos, you know, including our exit. I got a hand grenade here, and you know, like every hand grenade in Hollywood, you just got to pull the pin, pop it, toss it, and walk it.